Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers, and we'll begin with the newspaper of records this day. And doing the honors this morning is Steve Ayorinde.
Thank you, Genix. We miss KK.
We miss KK, yes.
All right, so we start with the newspaper of record this day on Sunday. The lead story here says PDP, Labour Party, tackle Oshiomhole, say Tinubu should take credit, blame Buhari's performance. The writers say urge former Lagos, Edo governors to apologize for misleading Nigerians. Atiku, Wike's face-off delays constitution of PDP's presidential campaign council, and parties neck to meet on Thursday over membership council. I think it was here at Arise that Oshiomhole granted that interview when they said that, Ashwaju has not held any appointment in government since he left as governor of Lagos State in 2007. And therefore, if you are saying that Buhari has failed in certain areas, Tinubu is not liable. But PDP and Labour here are saying, it was part of those who brought him in.
Who pushed? Yes.
Interesting narrative that will run all through, February, without a doubt. So the opposition is saying, let him take credit. And in fact, both Ashwaju and Oshiomhole themselves, they are saying, you campaign vigorously.
Yeah. But can we blame the opposition? Are they saying the truth or not at this point? Because Tinubu did come on television to say that he made Buhari president. Basically, he did. Yes.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4
at this point. So, I mean...
After Ilule.
A few times. And then, according to Tinubu himself, I'm just reminding you that's what he said.
You are taking us back to the old Lule.
Yes, that's what he said. Yes. Who's he referring to? Wasn't it the president he was referring to?
Clearly.
Okay, I thought so.
And he didn't stop at Olule. He said he cried on TV. And then they stepped in.
Osukun
television.
Osukun. Yeah, I know. I speak Yoruba now.
I know. Very well. Very well.
That popular clip won't go away.
No, it will not.
Especially with the PDP and Labour Party, talking about it. And that the corollary to that Olule thing was that creatively brilliant headline after Oshun went to PDP, that the editor of This Day on Sunday said, one Lule in Oshun.
Yeah.
I've not seen anything so beautifully creative.
It's the poetic justice of it all.
Daily Times in 1962.
Yeah. What did they do in 1962?
Akintola Taku. When there were problems between Awolowo and Akintola, who was the premier of the Western region, and he was being begged and everything. He said, no, I'm not going to agree. And the headline of Daily Times was Akintola Taku. He refused to budge. So Nwolule is similar in that. But we're here today. It's a different ball game. The other story on top of the lead says Buhari seeks drastic measures against killing of 6 Nigerians in Southeast. Gunmen kill 6 policemen, 4 others abduct 14 Indians in Imo, Kogi. Again, part of the spate of insecurity in Nigeria. A lot of people might wonder that when it comes to the Southeast, the president is always swift, to react and galvanizing the security to say deal with the situation. But then if it were to be in other parts of the country, especially in the north, people might wonder that why is the president not always that galvanized, to urge the military to take action. I think that the way that he ought to be responding should be uniform. Wherever crime is taking place, have a decisive approach, to how it should be tackled. But what is clear is that we must be very hard on crime and criminality, whether it's in the southeast or the southwest or south-south or any part of the north. On top of the masthead, APC considers Badaru, Umahi, Akeredolu, 5 other governors as presidential campaign directors. That story is on page 10, having appointed the governor of Plateau State, Lalong, as the DG of the campaign, and Festus Keyamo, with a few other people, Dele Alake, as the spokespersons for the campaign. They are now trying to, pull many of the governors as directors. That it will require, a heavy war chest to prosecute this election. you need the governors who have the red pen, to sign off on certain things, to be part of the campaign. And on the window, no respite for Nigeria as oil production falls to 1.083 meters barrel per day in July. Deficit exceeds 700,000 BDP despite assurances of increased drilling. If we are not able to meet our quota, it means that our revenue from crude definitely will reduce.
Yes.
This is what gives us, a good chunk of our revenue.
Exactly.
That is, at best, is still not enough. Last but not the least is the cover picture, which is celebrating Daisy Danjuma at 70. We mentioned it yesterday, remember,
Yes.
Femi?
Yes, we did.
Here we have the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, with the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and the governor of Sokoto State, joining the celebrator and her husband. I like the fact, like we said last week and yesterday, when you have new septuagenarian, octogenarians, nanogenarians, that's what I celebrate,
Nice.
because we have a lot to learn from them in terms of lifestyle, in terms of what they eat, and what they do, so that we can tell the rest of the world that this is not a nation that everybody dies at 55 or at 63.
Your mother was 80.
She was 80 in June, on
and
June 12th.
She looks spectacular.
Thank you.
Really, she looks amazing for her age.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I celebrate. All right, let's move on to this style.
Okay, so moving on to this day style. Thank you, Steve. We have Stella Fubara, and the headline there reads "Advancing Tourism," which is fitting because Stella is the Director of International Operations at the Dubai Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing. And over there, her responsibility is to promote Dubai to the African market. Now, to some people, they might say that might not be too difficult to do, being that, if we look at Nigeria, for example, there's clearly a very strong tie in terms of tourism between Nigerians and traveling to the United Arab Emirates, most especially the Emirates of Dubai. But it's also about making sure the entire African market follows suit. Yeah. And I was about to say it would be interesting. It is a very interesting read-up that she's done. She sat down with Konye Chelsea Wabogo, who is the editor of This Day Style. And it's obviously a very clear and concise interview. And I wonder what role Stella thinks the airlines play. Just a few weeks ago, if not last week, we were hearing Emirates say that they are going to reduce their flights out of Nigeria because of $85 million that are trapped in the country. That's right. And that's obviously going to have a knock-on effect in terms of tourism, of people traveling from Nigeria to the United Arab Emirates. So it is, as always, a very good interview, a very good read. So please do make sure you read the good journalism within the pages of This Day Style. I think sometimes people look at excerpts as just pretty pictures, but there's real substance in there.
I mean, Kanye has been banging out
Yes.
lonely editions.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
She's been doing an amazing job. Kudos.
Yeah.
So we'll move over to the Guardian newspaper. And the lead story there, ASU strike. Turbulence at home. Political leaders' children in smooth sail abroad. And we have pictures of our leaders here. First off is Buhari with his three children. And then we also have here, I believe that is Bukola Saraki and his wife. Yes. And we also have Atiku Abubakar and his children. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, as well as the Ekwere Madus on the cover of Guardian. I believe these are old pictures, actually, but still it does ring that bell. This illustration is just really what Nigerians are crying about at this point.
Absolutely.
Our schools are dilapidated. And one of the stories there on the Guardian is that the federal government is misinforming Nigerians about our demands. So this is the President of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, who is actually reacting to Festus Keyamo's statement, saying that ASU is asking for 1 trillion naira. Yes. He says that statement is false, that that's not what ASU is demanding, and that ASU is really asking that, the federal government looks into the school system, refurbishes the school system, and all of that. So, this is a very topical subject in Nigeria at this point.
Earlier, the symbolism of it to me is very striking.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that it ties neatly, to what we discussed when we were
Earlier,
on the program. When you have senior government officials who either are investors in private education, universities, etc., or whose kids are abroad, it calls for concern, especially when education is failing in Nigeria.
Yes.
And when ASU has been on strike for about 6 months, going to 7 months now.
Yes.
And this is something that we witness on a daily basis. It should prick their conscience, to say that this can be right. I think that's what The Guardian is trying to do here.
Yes.
And it's brilliant. It doesn't
Very
have
brilliant,
to be when did they go to school?
Right.
Were your kids abroad? I mean, I am
Did they
not
school
against
abroad?
people,
Yeah, schooling abroad.
if they can afford a schooling abroad, sending their awards anywhere. Because yes, we do have people from other parts of the world, come here
Yes.
to, but
And that's what ASU is demanding as well, for
Exactly.
people to come to Nigerian schools.
Absolutely.
To make it attractive for foreigners
Exactly,
to be able to come
because
and
it's
school
not
here.
exactly
Yeah.
that. Because
As well.
it's not supposed to be a punishment to
No.
be educated in Nigeria. So how can
in public universities?
exactly? It
in
shouldn't be a
public.
punishment.
Yes.
You should be proud to send your children
Yeah.
there. In other countries, if we look at the United Kingdom, for example,
Yeah.
when Labour was in power, when Tony Blair was the Prime Minister, his daughters went to state schools.
Yeah.
Right, his children
Yeah.
went to state schools. It might have been the posher side of the state schools,
Yeah.
but they were state schools nevertheless, because it shows that if you believe in the education system in a country that you are the #1 citizen of, you should be proud to send your own children there.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
To schools where you are making policies, that will affect, the future of many people.
That's it.
I think, in conclusion from my part, is that part of what needs to be done is to take a second look at the document that Dr. Wale Babalaki SAN supervised during the negotiations between government and NASU in those days. I think that a lot of solution, might be contained there in terms of the sort of responsibilities that government will have to do, and responsibilities on the part of ASU.
Yes.
Nothing vague, don't make it hazy.
Yeah.
Go back into the sense in what, that committee which you chaired at that time did.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Earlier in the week, I took a story about Professor Ozua, who was who studied at the University of Ibadan, who donated $1 million
Yeah.
To that school.
Yes.
I mean, the federal government can find creative ways in helping this
There are
situation.
ways to sort it.
So
There
many
are
ways.
ways.
I mean, how can Festus Keyamo come on television to say that they're not, fresh negotiations?
Yeah.
What sort of negotiations?
If it were
it
your own
stops-
children
yeah.
suffering like that,
Absolutely.
is that what you would want to hear?
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
You're going abroad
It's incredible.
to attend the graduation ceremonies. I mean, this insensitivity is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The same way that the Speaker of the House of Representatives did the other time when he had to go to Harvard. I mean, let's even assume that you don't care and you have to do these things. Must you now put it in the public,
Yes.
in open
Yes.
glare, and be celebrating why students here, who are ready to pay, by the way, are still at home?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so unfair.
It is.
It's
So unfair. I'll just take two. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. I think we should.
Oh, do you have a few more stories
Now
from The Guardian?
that NAS is fielding while Nigeria burns is on page 2, and Kogi Imo under siege. As gunmen
Yes,
kill 10.
yes.
You discussed that. 2023 OB support groups hold 1 million man march in Nasarawa State. Wow, 1 million man march.
I saw
see
the
that?
video clip of it,
Did
and
you see that?
it looks that the movement is getting real.
Yeah.
In real life,
Yes.
not just on social media.
Exactly
But
that.
then, the word of caution there is that it is the OB movement
Yes.
that we are saying.
Yeah.
By the time that they articulated and the Batified also moved their people outside, you see that it will be a balance of terror.
It's interesting to see. Very interesting
Yeah.
to see.
Hey. All righty. Well, moving on to the Sunday Vanguard. It's almost entirely political. I mean, it's the state of this country, isn't it? But if we're looking at the battleground of 2023, like Oshun, crises threaten APC in 20 states. Things fall apart in Kano, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, Kwara, Imo, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Yobe, Delta, and others. I mean, it wouldn't be the most peaceful reading for a member of the APC this morning to hear that after losing Oshun last month, 20 more could be on the way if you don't play your cards right.
I hope it's not out of this 20 that Arabambi, is hoping that they will get the 15 states that he predicted
Mathematically, it should be. There should be a few.
Labour will get. And if you tie that, Adefemi, just very quickly to the window story in the nation, Abiodun Amoso in war of words over rigging. Ex-governor vows to work against incumbent in 2023. I mean, I think Ogun will be part of the 20 that Vanguard is mentioning. If a former governor is at daggers drawn with the incumbent, the same party, and he's saying that I will not work, for your re-election. That's telling on the kind of cohesion and peace that you have within the APC.
Absolutely.
I hope that what happened in Oshun, because of the Aregbesola factor, will not happen in Nogo in 2023 because Amosun does not want the incumbent, his successor, to have a second term.
Yes, I mean, if we look at the PDP, for example, and the feud, or now doused feud between Wike and Atiku Abubakar, you could draw some parallels, but I think the stakes are slightly different. I think it could be a situation where it's a bit more personal in Ogun State. Perhaps Senator Amosun, who was the former governor, might have wanted a different candidate. I think that's I think that was clearly known. He wanted a different candidate.
He wanted Akinlade, as the governor, and Akinlade had to move, to a new party. Guess what? Akinlade today is now the running mate to the PDP candidate in Ogun State. So will he be working for the PDP because his preferred candidate in 2019 is now with PDP? Again, these echoes are shown to me. And, it's better they nick it, in the board before it blows out.
Can we take another paper?
Yes.
Just very quickly. Okay, we did, I think we should do a telegraph, just very quickly this time around for a change. Again, the lead is on the 2023 presidential election. APC, PDP fret over governor's lukewarm attitude. Same faith candidacy drags back Tinubu Shetima. Wike, friendly governors hesitate on Atiku. Badaru, Umahi, others join along to market Tinubu. And then an interesting story on page 3 running to page 4 of the paper. World business leaders behind insurgency in Nigeria, others. That's according to a retired general. It's an interview with the writer saying quest for natural resources behind crisis. Fake news, part of cause of insecurity. That's Governor Sani Bello of Niger State. I think that would be an interesting read.
Absolutely.
Is there an international dimension to what is funding, and like it is said, if this kind of insurgency runs for more than 6 months, look closer to the people in authority. It's an enterprise. It has become an enterprise, and people seem to be benefiting from it. What this retired general is saying is that there might be collusion, from external forces. Not just the ragtag, people shooting, and in terms of those behind them, where's the money going? Who's funding them? Who's supplying the ammunition?
If you watch that BBC documentary, one of those, terrorists alluded to that fact as well, that everyone is benefiting from the insurgency, from the insecurity,
they must be.
It's.
Oh, before we head off, I do want to talk about the Commonwealth Games very quickly, because yesterday Steve was talking about how he doesn't have a favorite event, but he would like to see more Nigerians in javelin and discus and shot put. And we've just, Iyayi has broken the women's shot put record as Nigeria now lead the African teams on the medals table, which is another thing that you saw yesterday.
That's great.
So huge congratulations. It's been a wonderful Commonwealth Games for Nigeria.
It has been.
And I think we got a silver too. The 19-year-old Nigerian girl, who
Favor Ofili.
I watched that and I thought that was
fantastic.
Great. I mean, all these young lads, schooling abroad and now running for their country. That's what I celebrate. Not those who will say, what has Nigeria, done for them. No, they are Nigerians. They have our blood, and everything, and carry our flag. That's what you should celebrate. Everything should not be negative.
Yes, I love this. So this. Iyayi, what did she put? Shot put.
It's the one where you have the heavy ball on your neck and you launch it. Is that amazing?
Amazing. Yesterday I talked about how many of these are athletes, the para heavy weight lifters and the para lightweight lifters. They did really well.
Absolutely.
I was so impressed. We had one who won a gold medal. We had 2 gold medalists.
Yes.
And we also had 1 bronze
about 9 gold
and
now.
1 silver.
How many?
Yes.
Yes, about 9 gold medals
Yes, in the Paralympic, the
Para Commonwealth Games.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing. Nigerians are doing well
We're not
everywhere.
doing too badly.
Not
Yes.
too badly at all.
Should we take the punch really quickly?
Yeah, just
Or
quickly.
Very
are we
in
good?
1 minute,
Just
yeah.
quickly, the headline there: terrorists attack 16 military bases in 18 months, kill 750. I just needed to highlight that. 750.
Almost a military base a month.
And how many months?
Almost, yes,
In
almost
18
a
months.
military
18 months.
base
16
a
in
month
18
in
months.
18 months. 16 military bases.
That's like a siege
Well,
on our installations.
It is,
That's a
basically.
siege.
Right.
It's not good.